This show is part of the Transpodcaster Visibility Initiative.
Well, the only thing I'd be like, wait a minute, you're on OnlyFans? Yee! It's like, and I'm like, is it feet porn? No, it's not.
It's not all just porn now, baby.
No, it's not.
We do
It's
a little
trying
bit of
to
everything.
try to destigmatize those people. The OnlyFans is no longer just adult stuff. But yeah, it's interesting. It's cool. It's like, I don't know what to think. It's like OnlyFans, yay! It's like,
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of one of those things, and then of course when you tell people, they're going to be intrigued, and then they're going to look. They might not tell you they've gone and looked, but you might be able to get, because I keep my subscription fees pretty low, like $5.99 a month or $5 something a month, which isn't bad. That's like the low end. That's less than what some people spend on cigarettes, less than what you spend on Netflix. You know, you get some tasteful boudoir, cheesecake, and some pinup photos, but you also get my reviews, my podcasts, and anything else I feel like to throw up there. And for those who tip, I take requests.
See, that's pretty cool.
And it's become kind of an interesting model where it was like, oh, wow, I can afford an extra pizza each month, too. Hey, Al, let's go to dinner. You know, and I ain't talking McDonald's, we ain't talking dollar menu, we talking somewhere nice. And not the place where, you know, you go there and your family.
That's like, honey, let's go to the Golden Arches. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Well, sometimes with my iron content, because now I'm anemic, I get all the luck. So now my iron content's low. More red meat. Okay. Sure, I don't mind having dead things rotting in my colon. I'm all for it, you know?
And your colon will thank you later.
Ever since the kid, you know, Willow says to me, hey, Mama Sash, you know, start getting your stuff medium well. Ooh, that was a whole new ball game for me. You know, it's juicy, it's good, it's spot on, and it just melts in your mouth depending on the cut. I will not get from what's called Longhorn. I won't go to Longhorn anymore because they don't know how to cut their steaks right.
No,
if
they
I'm
don't.
in this area, I'll go to Texas Roadhouse.
Yep.
And they're cheap and they're effective. And yes, it's the low end. But it's kind of like, I want to say it was like Dan Noakes or somebody the other day was talking about getting prime rib. And if prime rib is that good at Texas Roadhouse, imagine it at a 2 Michelin star restaurant.
See, I love it. I mean, I can cook prime rib at home, but it's like I only cook it one way, which is medium rare. I use the Hank Hill kind of anthology, which is, hey, Dad, how do you cook a steak? You cook it firm with a little give. What about if someone asks it for well done? Son, you kindly and politely ask him to leave.
Yep. But
that's about right.
You got to figure, though, I grew up around that age when basically there was that Jack in the Box scare with the Boy Scout troop. I don't know if you remember that or not. It made the history
Vaguely.
It made the history books while I was in high school for science biology because of E. coli. I'm not saying don't eat Jack in the Box, but you used to be able to go to pretty much any fast food restaurant that had burgers and you could get stuff rare. And the problem with E. coli, I don't know what keeps connecting and disconnecting on my computer, so I apologize that anybody hears the delay from.
It makes things interesting, doesn't it? Oh, yes, it does.
I'm trying to figure it out. I think it might be because I still have my computer card attached for running all the gaming stuff. Because I got something from Old School Gamer recently. And you've seen a lot of the controversy on Old School Gamer, I would assume, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, this is a product they actually make, and I stand by it because if you want a video capture card, here's the thing I think is funny: it's unrestricted. Whatever's HDMI I plug into it, it doesn't block any of the signal. I can stick my Roku in there, and I can get everything I want on the computer. So when the reviews do hit, you're going to get that nice HD quality because it's coming right from my Roku box.
Yeah, definitely send me that a little bit later. But that's all I use. Haven't used it yet. It's this cheap ass HDMI.
Yeah, they have something similar.
Video capture.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah, there's one from Old School Gamer, and it's like $20. It is not bad. I still play GameCube. Granted, yes, GameCube has become quite a costly endeavor, but since I have the Game Boy player and the disc, so I can actually use the Game Boy player, it is awesome because Old School Gamer makes one of the old like Super Nintendo style like controllers for the GameCube just for the Game Boy Advance. And Hori had made those back in the day.
Yeah.
And they're like 40, 50 bucks, maybe more, even if they're loose. And it was a Japanese exclusive. So you kind of have that extra money. If you don't know where to go or look for it, you're going to pay for it. Speaking of, up in my area, I don't know how often you get to Shippensburg. Have you checked out Retro Loot yet up that way?
I have.
Yeah.
It's an interesting store. I haven't been there a lot. I've been there a few times. But now, now that I play a system that has no disk drive, it's all digital. It's like,
yeah, but you're still retro. We all come back to retro at some point.
I know we do.
And I'm serious, you and me, we're going to start getting PSP movies because this is why I've mentioned Retro Loot. Retro Loot. Like, I have seen brand new sealed PSP movies for under $8 a piece. Sealed. I just picked up The Craft. I picked up The Crow.
Wow.
I picked up Saw, and I think Saw 2, and a couple other fringe horror movies, plus Princess Bride. And he even gave me a discount. Oh, yeah, you're in here. You're the only person that buys this crap. Here you go. I'm like, dude, they're sealed. He's like, I'm like, these are $30 a pop. Yeah, but you're cool. You're the only person who's going to buy us in this area. That's why I got it. I bought a lot. You're good. Don't worry about it. They're good people. If you're into gaming of any type, be it pen or pencil. If you like some of the arcade one-ups, he has a ton of them around the store you can try. You can also buy, but you can play any system there. He has Magic the Gathering nights. So, hey, if you're into gaming, go down and check it out some night. It's a pretty cool place. Pretty chill people. You know me. Two of my favorite things. Cool place, chill people. And besides, you know, that what do you got back here? Xbox?
Yeah, my Xbox Series S.
Let
me put it that way. I traded in. No, I didn't trade anything for it. That was I just got it because my friends were playing FIFA and I decided to join them. But no, that's besides the point. I had a Nintendo Switch, but I had to trade that in to get money to buy a very expensive camera, which we're now using for all of our films, and it's top graded films up to 8K. But you know, now just add that, and that seemed dangerous because I have an addiction to video gaming. When I play, it's like so. That's basically all I need right now.
You know, when I get this Blobfest trailer starting shooting here in August, you might be called in. I might need a favor because I can't operate a camera and, you know, act at the same time. I know both Leonard Nimoy and let's just call him Kirk, because at the end of the day, he is William Shatner. They have both directed themselves in films, but I just don't see me doing that. So I need somebody else behind the camera for certain times and certain scenes. And trust me, the trailer's going to be pretty wild. So I'm cutting a faux trailer. And I've got it planned out where it's going to be long enough so it can make it into their Shorty Shorts Film Festival, but short enough so it still serves as my entry into Miss Blobfest. So I've got 2 angles going at the same time. And then on top of that, even if I don't win, I hate to say it, I'm getting that crown. I'm going to rush the fucking stage if I have to. Put it up with a ski mask. I'm going to get it. 2023 is my year.
Cool.
I'm intense. I deserve that title. Yeah, once I have it, I will defend it. It'll become, try to take the crown from Sasha. Please.
Oh my.
Hey, come on.
Yeah.
You know, if my ancestor could rule the Carpathians with an iron fist, I can rule Miss Blobfest with an iron fist. I'm not asking for much. And nobody has to get impaled. Well, maybe me, but yeah, that's a whole other subject.
I mean, if you're gonna get that right, impale her? Well, I loved her. Thank you, Vlad the Impaler.
Yep, indeed. But anyway, so outside of that, I want you to tell us about you, George, and what all it is that you do, who you are, what you are, your podcasts, your shows, and your many, many talents. And he is a man of many talents.
So, yes, I am a man of many talents. I go by the artist known as when I do music. I go by George by many people, but he has
many names.
Yeah, my name's George J, but I use the name Rocky when it comes to art. To start out with the furry fandom, but then it kind of transitioned. I'm gonna be like Banksy, and I'm gonna use that name Rocky as my artist name. So whenever I sign, I don't sign that sign ROCKY now, and it's cool. I sign art. I make art paintings and stuff as all conventions, comic books. But now I've actually discovered another love, which is the love of making films. And I love acting. It was great. But then I realized I found out directing and I found out writing. I was like, and next thing you know, it's like, I am in love, like the short film coming out, Bobo, going through the mind of a 1920s circus clown, like being John Malkovich. And then with a film called El Leprechaun Mexicano, A Tale of Fortune.
Oh God, don't mention anything about Leprechaun, because I still gotta go do Back to the Hood. You still owe me for the last one I did. I know,
and I got
footage.
that.
You owe me.
Yeah, you'll get that footage. But El Leprechaun Mexicano, A Tale of Fortune. We all know Josue. He's going to be playing a Mexican leprechaun. The Leprechaun Union is short-staffed, and they can't find anyone to be a leprechaun, so they hire a Mexican to do the job. And he called El Duendo Mexicano, the Mexican leprechaun. And of course, have his outfit all picked out, the green sombrero. He's going to have the little Mexican flag scarf, but he's going to be dressed like a leprechaun. He'll take his sombrero off, and he has the leprechaun hat underneath it.
So tell me, at least he's going to get a writer's credit, so you don't get in trouble for any insensitivity.
Yeah, he's gonna get that, but he wants to do it. He looked at me the other day while we were talking. It's like you're gonna let me ad lib everything, right? It's like, I'm gonna play myself. Let me do it. I don't need a script. I'm like, you're getting a script. You're gonna follow things in the script, and you're gonna do it right. But he says, I want to get my hair colored red, white, and green, the Mexican colors. I'm like, sure, go ahead.
That's also the Italian flag, so it works out.
Yeah, it's like, you're a leprechaun, so why not? You're a Mexican leprechaun. Like little jokes like, it's like, I want my pot of gold here. Half the pot. It belongs to my aunt, da-da-da. Actually, no, it's not a family heirloom. She just got it at the local flea market. Little jokes like that. The local flea market, the same aunt that has, it's like the same aunt that has that rash in between her legs of Vincent Hernandez that we talk about every Christmas.
Oh,
stuff like that. I'm thinking of, and he loves it. He's like, I'm thinking of him, his personality.
You gotta think of him when it comes to it.
Yeah, but that probably won't be starting. We won't start filming that till at least fall. Right now, Bobo is up. We have March and then editing. So, I mean, that's pretty cool. We'll see what happens. But I do art, like I said, artwork, make stuff, pun art. I love it. Comic books. And now I have this lovely 3D printer. So I make shit.
So tell us about your YouTube channel, the studios that you're working for, things of that nature, and where people can find you.
So I work at many different places. I have my own YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/PND Studios. As of right now, I don't make many video content. I used to do food reviews, but with me trying to lose weight because my numbers are high and I could be diabetic, so I'm working on losing weight. So I'm cutting back on the food reviews because the more I do food reviews, the more I eat. And I'm like, no, I gotta be on this healthy diet.
Let Mama Sasha interject here for a second. You do understand that there is a difference between a gourmet and a gourmand, right?
Yeah.
You eat to live, don't live to eat.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
You can do this. I mean, come on, you got our our micro Mexican, friggin' becoming a gym rat. We can have you eating healthy and still doing food reviews. Just don't go.
Yeah, I can do that.
Just don't become like a total vegan, because I'm gonna friggin' totally harsh on you if you become a vegan. We don't do that shit.
No, it's not like I'm going to do a recipe like, so, where is this fish caught? Is this fish 100% hormone and biotic free? Is this fish organic? Is there any gluten in this fish? Is this vegan friendly? No, I'm not going to be one of those. But
I was watching the latest Valentine's Day special for Harley Quinn on HBO Max. Just the whole vegan coffee. Wait, all coffee is vegan.
No, it was what was that show? It was a show with that guy from Saturday Night. It was a Seth Meyers show, the guitarist. Yeah, he had the show that is Portland, something Sunny Portland or something like that. And I just remember that.
Always sunny in Philadelphia?
No, it was like Portland or something. Portland,
Portlandia.
Portlandia. That one skit where in Portlandia, where it's like, so is this chicken free range or vegan free? I don't know. Let me go find out. Hops in the car, drives all the way to the farm, and talks with the farmer and gets all the information. Drives back and say, yeah, it is vegan. Oh, good. Well, what about the fish? I was like, it's funny.
Well, there are fish farms now. I mean, like, seriously.
There are fish farms. Yeah, there are.
But so tell us about your studio. I mean, I hate to have gone onto that tangent. #tangent.
No. See, I love it. It's great. So yeah, so PND Studios. It started out with me just making it as. I started out with Panda Numeric Designs, and I just used it as my art. But then I remember going to a business conference, and the guy at the business conference said, "You must utilize video in your business. No ifs, ands, or buts. Video must be used." I was like, okay. So how can I utilize video into my business? Hence the YouTube page started. Hence I started my talk show, which started out as The Artist Show. It was originally what started that was. It was fun. It was campy. It was me trying to pretend that I'm a late night talk show host, wearing suits and have my hair all slicked up, and then doing fun stuff. I enjoyed it. It was purely fun. But then I got tired of it. I got burned out, so quit it. And then I came back with This Week Live. Same format, but it was more laid back, where I didn't have to dress so da-da-da. But I always make fun of the news. But then I realized, as me and myself and I'm doing this by myself. I'm the writer. I'm the director. I'm filming. I'm editing. I'm like, I can't do this. And I drastically cut back. And then I went to the food reviews, and the food reviews started kicking in, and I started getting recognized by random people in sheets saying, I was looking for a good place for chocolate, and I saw your food review just randomly pop up, and I typed in Gettysburg chocolate, and it's like, that's weird. All right, you noticed me. Okay, cool. And then the food reviews picked up, and now everyone knows me for the food reviews, and that stopped because, I got burned out of that quickly. Then I picked it up and that got burned out. And then it's like, what else can I do? I just do random things now. Now I'm more of a TikTok. I make
Well, you got to
TikTok
find
video
your brand.
shorts.
Everybody has a brand.
Yep.
Me, I'm
So now I just do like
a
little short
spooky,
TikTok videos.
weird, gothy, overly sexualized, better version of Elvira.
Yeah. I mean, that's how I found out about, I found out a band now I listen to. What's the band called? It's Vision TV or something
Okay.
like that. They're a goth band out of Texas, and the guy on his TikTok and on YouTube, he's pretty cool. He's like, "Hi, baby bats. This is your goth dad speaking. Let me show you how to tie a tie." And the thing that caught me in that was the very first comment was saying, "I just came out as trans, and no one taught me the proper way to be a guy growing up, and you taught me how to tie a tie. Thank you." I was like, just things like that just pulls at your heartstrings. I'm like,
Yeah,
I love this guy.
it
And plus his
does.
music.
And it's interesting that you bring that up. Thank you for the transition. A free transition. Yay. Now, normally, please keep in mind that, Sasha After Dark, we're not PG here. We're never going to be PG. And mostly, I don't like to be the trans person that talks about trans issues. But I hate to say it, everybody and his brother's been dragging me into their arguments this past week.
And
And
it's been all
Mama
over the
gotta
news.
talk.
Yeah.
And the thing of it is at the end of the day, when it comes to the show normally, we're here to talk horror, sci-fi, geek, gaming, all of that stuff. So at the end of the day, you don't just go, yeah, that trans person, blah, blah, blah. No, you go, that woman knows her horror, sci-fi, comics, gaming. She's got interesting points on that. I cease being Sasha the trans woman, and then you come to see me for Sasha the Princess of Darkness.
Correct.
And that's what it's all about. It's about bridging that gap. But today, we're going to talk about some trans issues.
So,
That came up recently, heavily in the entertainment field. Seems like it's a constant thing. I'm going to, of course, plug one of my upcoming review that's going to get some people's panties in a twist, but fuck you. It's about time somebody said it.
good.
And then we're going to talk about our favorite politician and reality show host, the Big Orange Meanie. And of course, we're going to speak about the Brit Transphobe's latest new boy magician game.
Yeah, so Grammys and Sam Smith.
You see, you keep talking about Sam Smith, just because he got a penis don't mean he's the headline act. I mean, come on, give Kim some credit. Kim looking pretty damn good. And by the way, Sam is a gay man. Kim is a trans woman. Now,
See, I love it. After the performance happened, the first thing I read about, I think it was from Elon Muskrat. We're going to call him Muskrat because he stinks. But Elon Muskrat on Twitter kind of made fun of the performance, saying, "I'm surprised no one's making fun of you yet for your performance." And then the next thing you know, all hail the Christians. They all come out of the blue saying, "Satanic! Satanic! How can they allow that on television?"
And this is what I think is funny, because I always like to juxtaposition this with Little Nas X.
Yeah.
There's more of a cry over this Grammy performance than there is over what Little Nas X had in his video.
I know.
And here's the thing, and you and I kind of talked on this before the show, but to touch on it, simply put, during the Grammys, in very satanic red, much awesome classic, some of those dresses were retro, FYI. You had both Sam and Kim doing a duet of the song Unholy. If you haven't heard it, add that to your Spotify now. Once we're on Spotify, you need to add us on Spotify too. But anyway, It's a great song. It's a beautiful duet. And a lot of people go, oh, but the subject matter. Well, here's the thing. When you've got a gay male singer and a trans woman singer singing about adultery, it's coming from a completely different and separate place. Because the song is kind of from their perspective. They're talking about their lover and what their lover is doing behind closed doors. And the sad fact of it is being part of the greater LGBTQ community. I hate to say a lot of older relationships deal with a lot of, a lot of relationships from early for us deal with a lot of infidelity and adultery. Because a lot of us are forced in to live with the societal pressures and what's right and what's wrong and blah, blah, blah. You've got to marry a man, and a man's got to be a man, and a woman's got to be a woman, and you got to procreate and have kids. But you can only deny your nature for so long. You can't lie about who you are. It becomes more damaging to, the people that you're with, but also to yourself. I mean, look at everything that's going on with Justin Roiland at the moment. I mean, he is an out gay man, and he has all of these, abuse, allegations coming towards him for being out in the open and making money. Again, not saying that what he did was good, not saying that he did anything either, but he has always been very transparent about who he is and what's been done.
And then you get people like politician.
Well, we're not done with unholy just yet. We haven't touched on Christian fundamentalists, which I feel is a little bit better of a transition to a certain orange beanie. But anyway, of course, of all people, to bring up the concepts of Christianity with big orange meanie. But anyway, when this performance hit the Grammys, there was very little talk until about this past week.
Yeah, it was very quiet, and then people were complaining. It's like, why are people complaining about the WAP performance on the Grammys and making a big deal out of that? And then they're not complaining about this. It said
there are no bones as to what the song's about. There's not. Let's be honest.
And of course, the hashtag ban the Grammys is now popularizing on Twitter.
Give it time. It'll be ban the Oscars. Once you and I get there, it'll be ban the Oscars. It'll happen. It'll happen. We're getting there. But the thing of it is at the end of the day, the song is very transparent as to what it's about.
Yep.
The fact that you have two singers that are singing it is kind of sort of serve as a juxtaposition. The reason for all of the red and the satanic imagery is because that is how society in general labels people like myself and George. And there are some people out there who's like, fuck it. If that's how you're going to label us, I'm going to own that shit. Because my philosophy's always been, if you're going to accuse me of it, I'm going to do it.
But you take away...
And I'm going to do it with gusto.
But you take away the fact that she's trans, you take away the fact that he's gay, and just talk about the lyrics of the song. That topic has been going on
to death.
Years.
There have been countless death metal bands that have been at the Grammys. There have been countless satanic bands that have performed. Not penny one of a concern given. But all of a sudden, a gay man and a trans woman do a duet, and the Christian fundamentalists gasp and clutch at their pearls. Oh, what about the children? Fuck off.
I mean, everyone thought the Grammys also. They were all like rooting for 9 awards for the Queen Bee. She's going to take it all. But when Sam Smith won that award, he's like, I'm not going to talk. I'm going to let Kim talk. It's her time.
And she accepted that with gusto, and she owned it.
She did.
Hell yeah. And that's what the world needs right now. But the thing of it is, and this is something I want to point out, because with all the Grammy hubbub, everybody wanted to give crap to Madonna's new look. Here's the thing that a lot of people don't understand. if you haven't figured it out yet, there's a lot of rampant sexism in the entertainment industry. If you're a man, you can age like fine wine. And if you're a woman, good luck getting an acting role after the age of 30. Hell, 30 might be your cutoff. You better get a hold of that retinol, honey, because it ain't happening. And, you know, when Madonna came out, because I want to say she was like in her early teens when she first came out, like 16, 17, when she was first doing early music. And juxtaposition it with this, using a lot of Christian imagery in basically her songs, even though the songs were about something else. Like a Virgin, you might want to watch Reservoir Dogs to find out what that song's really about, and then try it for yourself. Not saying that's a good idea, not saying it's a bad idea, but it's not. But at the end of the day, here she did this, it was given awards and everything else, and now her age and her beauty is, you know, as everything does with time, is failing her. And so with the Hollywood mindset, stay relevant, to do this, to do that, I need to go and get surgery, I need to go get this done, I need to go get this nip, this tuck, this blah, 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 you know. And she probably got invited to the Grammys because, you know, she's been a multiple award winner in the past. And her publicist is like, honey, I know you just had a lot of work done. You need to go. And I almost guarantee there was some regret for her going, but it was one of those, like, if I don't go, there's going to be talk. And the talk's going to be much worse than if I do go. And to me, it should never be boiled down to that. Because, like, in music, in art, physical beauty is meaningless, you know? 9 times out of 10, you're not thinking about that singer when you're listening to the song in your car, barreling down 81 at 70 plus miles an hour. You know, you're listening to that song. Of course, you know, there's questions why you're going down 81 at 70 miles per hour, but it's neither here nor there.
There's one artist that the whole entire Grammys that kind of sums that up. Her name is Lizzo. Lizzo, in her acceptance speech, said, when I started in this music industry, I was fat, I was obese, and I was overweight. And she said, people were body shaming her for how she looked. They didn't care about her music. They cared about how she looked. She had to be a certain kind of person. And then she says, now I write this music. And she's like, you know what? Look at me now, bitch. And it's like, I don't care what I look like.
And again, going back to Madonna, here is that brought to the other extreme. You know, let her be. She's relevant in the 80s. Let her just age gracefully. You know, maybe let her do a performance every now and again. Dear God, I hope without the fake British accent. But just let her be. You know, she's been through hell. And she's earned a lot of those rewards. So and of course, she had a little bit of a nip and tuck done. In Hollywood, who hasn't at this point?
Everything back together. You know, it's like when you're in the entertainment industry, they expect you to be a certain way, to act a certain way. You have to be a certain weight to get certain roles, and you have to look a certain way. You may sing good, you may act good, but unless you look a certain kind of way, we're not going to hire you. Even Simon Cowell did that. There was a person on Britain's Got Talent who was overweight and obese, and the first word out of his mouth backstage is keep him away from the food. I'm afraid he's going to eat it all.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, you know, that when you're in Hollywood, when you're working with the big industries, they expect you to be and act and be a certain way, be on your best behavior. But then you got people like Madonna who's like, I don't give a shit. And then you got people like Rizzo who's like, who cares about body image? I'm gonna be big, black, and beautiful, and I could give a crap about what anyone says about me. Look, I played a classical flute that was originally by a president, and it's like, and then people are complaining about her. It's like, oh my God, a black woman is playing a flute by a former president. I'm thinking, hold up, she's a flautist. So are you going to tell me Terry Crews, a flautist, is also shouldn't be allowed to play?
A lot of people have played a president's flute while they were still president. Yes, we got jokes. But he didn't inhale. She did, though.
And it's not the Monica from Friends either.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I was anything friendly about that confrontation. I
It's
did
like,
all that
honey,
shit.
honey, honey, honey. You know, they got the little stain remover. You would just hit that with that, the little shout it out, drop off dry clean, been fine. We wouldn't know shit.
Or if we go Patrick Bateman, it's like, I don't understand. They can't get this is fucking cranberry juice. They can't get this out. I don't understand. They're supposed to be the best dry cleaners.
Yeah, what it is. But
it is.
Humor aside, it's the way the entertainment industry is anymore, and it sucks. And I'm half scared in March how the Oscars are going to play out, because it's going to be an absolute criminal offense if Everything Everywhere All at Once does not win every fucking award that it can.
Exactly, because now the people are saying the Oscars are like the Grammys, like the Golden Globes are saying, well, now that people complained that the African American community is not getting enough representation, it's like, are they getting too much now, and or are they getting too less? And then you get the idea of you expect one film to win, but yet another film wins. And it's like, oh, it's Steven Spielberg. Oh, that's great. What about this film? This film was good.
It was
that
fine
film
when
was
it was
good.
Spielberg's early career, like Duel and the first Jaws. Fine. After that, it
Yeah.
just became a gimme for him. You know, and to me, it's like none of his films have measured up to Duel and Jaws ever since.
Well, I think the only one that I was quite happy about winning as the Golden Globes, because he's nominated for an Oscar, is Guillermo del Toro. His rendition of Pinocchio.
Yeah, that
And he
should win
literally got
something
on
for
stage.
animated.
He got on stage and he says, "This is not a film for kids. However, if you're in the room with your parents and you want to watch it together, that's perfectly okay."
My dream, now that we finally had a Hulu Hellraiser, my dream, Guillermo del Toro's and Clive Barker's The Thief of Always. Make that shit happen.
Yes. Yes.
I want to see them two collab, and it better be everything from the novel and more. And a lot of people go, oh, it's Clive Barker's kids' book. It shouldn't be a kid's book. It's a good damn book. Read it. I don't care if you got kids or not.
Read it. And no, it's not on the list of books.
With Guillermo del Toro, I mean, the only thing I don't like is he gets all these wonderful ideas for projects that he abandons for something else that he has for such a great appeal. But as a creator, we do that shit all the time. But let's be honest, his Mountains of Madness, just some of the stuff that was in that, and like the test shots, it's like, And then of course you got Ron Perlman, like, yo, I'm pushing the upper end of my 70s here, man. Hellboy 3, we need to do it now or we're not going to do it. And he's ready for it. All he needs is the phone call. He just needs the call. Just pick up the phone, dial to 7 digits. Make it happen, Guillermo. You saw what they did to Hellboy earlier with the remake. It was terrible. And they had David Harbour, and they screwed it up. Give us what we want.
I watched it, but I didn't care for it.
It was not memorable.
No. Just like Ang Lee's version of Hulk.
It had its moments. I get what they were trying to do with it.
Yeah.
But I think Edward Norton and his take on the Hulk far superior, and it's a crime that Edward Norton did not show up somewhere in the Multiverse of Madness. He needs to show up somewhere. And he needs credit and proper due where dues due.
Yep. I agree.
Mark Ruffalo, great actor. Not this girl's Hulk.
Nope. My Hulk will always be the original Hulk from the 70s.
Bill
I thought,
Bixby and Lou Ferrigno.
yep. He just walks and there's all of a sudden you see the cheesy ass 70s montage.
Yep, and a little ripping shirt and the whole 9 yards. But that was
Yep.
then. Hell, we almost had a Marvel MCU back then because you had Spider-Man, live action in the 70s. You had Captain America around about the same time. You had, granted, yes, it got buried by roots, but you had Doctor Strange. Iron Man showed up in one of the Trials of the Credible Hulk movie.
Well, technically, there was a made-for-TV
where Thor crossed over. Yes, I'm well aware.
No, a film special called The Avengers, and that came out in the 80s, and that looked like crap.
Yeah, but could you imagine if we would have gotten the Peter Parker Spider-Man from the 70s TV show, or hell, throw us a wild card, give us the Asian Spider-Man.
So Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Because there would be no Power Rangers without him.
Yep. And the cool thing about him is that even Stan Lee, he actually approved of it, saying Japanese
Stan Lee
made
was
it.
high as fuck then. Did you ever see the interviews?
Yeah, I have.
Up. You know, he's just, that sounds great, man, a giant robot. Oh my god, I wish I would have thought of it.
Yep. It's Japan.
Yeah, Japan's just
you don't see that, all right.
And Stan Lee off to the side, little roach clip. Oh yeah, that's fucking sweet.
Probably out there with teaching Charles. Yeah, man, you want another hit? Yeah, here you go, man.
If he was making such deals back then, he would have somehow incorporated Mexican wrestling into the Marvel universe.
He would have.
The Japanese Spider-Man meets, what was his name, El Santo?
Yeah. And what do we have now? We have a cosplayer going around. He cosplays as Captain Mexico.
Yep.
Yep, I've seen him. I was like, damn, that's good.
I'm sorry, I'm waiting for somebody to wear the Captain America outfit and just go, I'm Captain Puerto Rico. Because it is the flag.
Well, he wants to be a Spartan, so I'm making him he wants me to make him a light sword from Halo.
Oh god. Are you lathing him a real one, or?
Yeah, I make that on the 3D printer. I found something. And I was like, it can be done. It comes in like pieces, so you have to piece it together. And it leaves the inside hollow where you actually had the electronics to make it light up with the push of a button, and actually has voices. So when you push the button, it's
this is Sparta.
And it goes when you hit something. It actually sounds like they're a real light sword when it hits things. It makes barking noises. I'm like, well, that would be cool. Yeah. All right.
Hashtag tangent.
Be a Spartan. You can be a Spartan.
See, we go off the rails here all the time. Oh, do we want to talk about the big orange beanie? Do we want to give him headspace?
So, which one?
The orange beanie. The big orange beanie with the bad hair. And you're fired, even though he wound up getting fired.
Yeah. Well, I consider the other orange meanie George Santos, who's representing the LGBTQ community as a Republican, absolutely horrible. Horrible person from New York. He should be gone by now. For all the things that he's done.
Oh, no. I'm talking about somebody who's, yet again, trying for a president.
Oh, yeah, I know about that one. But George Santos kind of falls in line with them. They're like buddy.
Yeah, but I've yet to see George Santos come out and make a speech that basically calls for the outright culling and genocide of people like me. And that's the difference. If you're going to be hateful and in politics, be a little deceptive about it. Layer it with something else. Don't layer something give the appropriate speeches with zig hell thrown in,
Yeah, but George Santos, what was it? When they have a bill that's for anti-trans and LGBTQ that is trying to pass, and of course, Biden said, I'm going to veto any bill that comes to my desk with that. George Santos is like, well, I'm gay. Okay, sure. If it's going to help my representation as a Republican and get some of the bills I'm going to pass, sure, I'll agree with it. I'm like, dude, you're a Republican. you're gay.
Right. But again, we kind of touched on this before the show. There is, even in my community, you had the whole recent scandal. And I used to be a big backer of Kristen Beck. I loved Kristen Beck.
Kristen
and then
Beck,
to see, and I'm not even sure of pronouns, but to see how they are considering detransitioning now and being very pro ideals that only a handful of years ago they weren't part of isn't cool. It's just like you were on the right path. Yes, somebody presented you some sort of argument that ran counterintuitive to your own, but you have to look at the facts at that point. I mean, anybody can slap you with something saying, for example, drag is encouraging children to be gay or what have you. But then you have to look at the facts that are surrounding it. Number one, a parent really shouldn't be bringing their kid to such a lascivious drag show. It's one thing to have a reading in a library. It's another thing to be half naked. I agree with that. But I also agree, and I'll touch on this more in my Rocky Horror Picture Show review. Like, for example, shows like Rocky Horror Picture Show glamorize the drag lifestyle, but the main character is trans, and trans and drag are not the same. Then you have to think about how the character's painted. The drag character is a murderess and a rapist through deception. And people have loved that film for how many years now? And nobody's came out and said, golly gee, that's a problem. I know Laverna Cox for a while when they considered the remake thought about it. But awful funny when Fox was throwing around them dollars, how quickly her opinion changed. That's why I don't celebrate her as much as I used to. As I often say, even a broken clock is right twice a day. Yes, drag is problematic, but it's problematic because it's sexist and transphobic, and trans people weren't allowed to even compete in drag shows or drag competitions until recently.
Well, I mean, it's getting pretty bad. I was watching with CBS Morning. There was a contestant from RuPaul's Drag Race who won, who's actually trans, and came out as trans, won RuPaul's Drag Race, and is actually on Broadway and playing she's playing the role of the head mistress of the women's prison in Chicago, and she has that lead role as a trans woman. And of course, people are saying, we want to meet you, you run this, but then you got people now saying, we're going to boycott Chicago just because you're putting a drag trans it person in that main lead role. I'm like, come on. Chicago's been around for how many years? And they've always had one role in that where a guy dressed up as a woman as a reporter, and at the end, they know it is, and he goes, someone pulls his wig off, and the joke is, woo, and he runs off.
This is where I look at people when I say don't confuse things. Like, for example, Jared Leto playing a trans person and then accepting an Oscar and a full beard and everything else, and everybody applauds and says, oh, it was so brave of him. Yeah, it was a role. He got paid a shit ton of money for it. John Cena was recently seen in a schoolgirl dress, stockings and heels recently for some sort of comedy that he's in. And everybody's like, oh, yeah, it's so brave. I'm like, yeah, look at John Cena and tell him he looks kind of, add whatever slur you'd like here. I'm quite sure John Cena is going to rock your day. But I can't get him for the life of me to acknowledge the fact that he looks enough like Ernest P. Worrell that we deserve a Son of Ernest movie. John Cherry, get on that, please. Come on, you have to admit.
Yes, John Cherry.
You could see John Cena playing Son of Ernest, and he works at a gym that has a bunch of like live wrestling matches, and he accidentally gets involved in a match and everybody loves him. The story writes itself. Like, you and I, we could pound this out in a weekend.
I'm sorry, all I'm envisioning right now is John Cena shirtless.
Well, if you want the picture of him in a schoolgirl dress, a stocking, thigh-high stockings and heels, it's online now. It's everywhere. And it's like, but people will look at that and go, oh, that's so brave. He's a 500-pound giant man. Who's going to fuck with him about it? You going to start something with him about it? He's going to make a huge paycheck for it. I guarantee it. He'd make a hell of a bigger paycheck as Son of Ernest, but that's just me.
I mean,
but at the end of the day, people have to understand that, like, when you have a known cis actor playing a trans role or a gay role, look at the Scarlett Johansson thing. She played in that one movie where she played as the trans man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I swear,
you have
marking off oppressed and marginalized communities. Oh, who can I represent next? And it's like,
we'll go on up. We'll use the actor Tom Hanks. He portrayed a gay man with AIDS in the movie Philadelphia, which won an Oscar. And it finally came out, and now people are complaining that, and he apologized for it.
That, Mrs. Doubtfire. I mean, come on. It's not cool.
That's Robin Williams. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
It's not cool at all.
But at the end of the day, granted, yes, we're how many years removed from this type of stuff, but we now see stuff like, in Some Like It Hot, Mickey Rooney playing the Asian guy. That's not cool. You had John Wayne play Genghis freaking Khan in the movie The Conqueror. Yes, it bombed critically, and rightfully so, and everybody on that set died of cancer because they needed to. I hate to sound like an asshole, but white people playing Asians is not cool. And then if you want to go back even further, look at all the minstrel shows of yore. Look at everybody who still says a Song of the South needs to stay in the Disney collection, and I still need Splash Mountain Song of the South theme. No, you don't. Get over it. And that's just me.
Okay.
I'm very much like that. And I'm not saying lock it up, throw it away in the vault. But look at what Warner Brothers does with their questionable material. Like Looney Tunes, for example. Of course, you've seen old Looney Tunes with questionable stereotypes. They literally have an advisory before that cartoon comes up saying, hey, there are some depictions here that are insensitive. Here's where you can learn more, blah, blah, blah. And here's the cartoon.
But you have to also tell people, it's like, that it was part of the time period. Like, when you talk about questionable things, like,
but here's the thing with the time period argument. This is where I jump in. The time period argument is invalid because, yes, it was accepted, but should it have been really?
No.
It never should have been okay. Because I love it when people say to me, well, for the time, Rocky Horror Picture Show was progressive. For the time, Song of the South was progressive. It's like, no, not really.
Well, you talk about things like World War II, for instance. Max Fletcher, who did The Beautiful Superman, one of my favorite animated versions of Superman, and I still love it. He did one where Superman fights the Japanese and sinks the ships. Superman, he goes and fights the Nazis. That was, at the time, typical because America was called propaganda.
But here's the thing very few people know, that the Superman creators, who were Jewish, they actually made sure to make it be known that anybody who judges anybody who's an American is un-American. And they made sure to have Superman in that banner.
Correct. Yep.
Max Fleischer might have made the cartoons, but Max Fleischer wasn't the creator.
No, he wasn't.
It's kind of like people who credit Spider-Man to Stan Lee. No, that was Steve Ditko and other writers. Stan Lee just showed up to steal the stage. And the rest of the Avengers, mostly Steve Ditko and Jack Kirby.
But it's kind of funny, because after those little Superman shorts showed, they had that little short with Superman saying, hey, kids, make sure you ask your parents to donate to the war cause. Buy war bonds.
I will
And
say,
regardless.
as terrible as it sounds, I forever loved Private Snafu in those old cartoons.
I love Private Snafu.
And all of the bullshit he gets into, like writing letters to his girlfriend or calling his girlfriend and telling her details. I'm like, those are effective.
But if anything, the thing I like about 1940s, if anything to come out comic-wise, is the invention of, was it the Wonder Woman, and of course Captain America.
Hold on. Stop with Wonder Woman for a second there, because Wonder Woman has some very interesting origins if you're part of the kink community.
He does. And
I
if
mean,
you look
like,
at
one of Wonder Woman's earliest weaknesses was being bound. Like, if you managed to get Wonder Woman tied up, she was powerless.
Yeah.
And you have to understand, her creator, the original creator, was a huge sex fiend and kink addict. Nothing wrong with that. Absolutely. But kind of dipping it into your comic books directed to kids secretively, that's kind of a problem.
Yeah.
And you'll notice that a lot of that stuff that happened no longer happens. But that's why she has the golden lasso of truth. She can rope you up and make you tell the truth. And it's like, does she wear a little leather outfit and has a little whip and cat o' nine tail? And it's like, wait, she almost kind of does.
I mean, the only thing recently I can think of is was it Superwoman and Supergirl, and one of the comics I actually haven't saved on my phone because I think it's hilarious. Is Superwoman flies in, she's talking to a woman, and then she's using her X-ray vision. It's like, I'm picking up some plastic and then looking directly at this other woman's boobs, like, Superwoman, no.
But see, that was the thing that always bothered me about Superwoman as a tangent. Same way with Zod and his cronies.
Yeah.
Like, the whole point of the story is that this is the last orphan of Krypton. But, dear God, Kryptonians pop up all the time. It's like, oh yeah, there's this whole city you didn't know shit about. Hold up, Paul.
No, but
DC is full of redundancies. There's a reason why James Gunn's going over to reboot it. But let's be honest, it's gonna be rebooted again because that's what happens with comic books. If you've read comic books for more than 20 years, you have been present for a 0-hour event. In fact, it's been so bad that it's actually been called 0 Hour in some publications, where the whole continuity got reset. And the problem of it is when you're dealing with 50 or 60 or 70 or sometimes 100 years worth of continuity, you're going to forget what is still canon and not canon. I could imagine the Bibles that they have for like DC and like Marvel nowadays. They probably don't just have one book. There's like 30 of them. You got to sub-reference this book from volume da-da-da-da, page da-da-da-da. And most writers and artists are, no, don't care. You know?
No.
Just tell stories, have fun.
The MC universe, movie universe is different from the comics. You can correct them like it's completely separate. Just enjoy it.
I'm just waiting for, Marvel to unleash Deadpool 3 because it's going to be a shit show. Because Patrick Stewart has already been told, hey, you're on deck for Deadpool 3.
Yep.
And it's like, didn't we just kill him in MCU fashion? Grant us in the multiverse of madness there could still be another Patrick Stewart. Hell, just give me Patrick Stewart and McAvoy side by side as professors. I would love that. And they're just arguing with each other over philosophy and perfect. I mean, you can't give me the no shit Sherlock. You can give me that.
I mean, I just like at the end of the no spoilers, but Ryan Reynolds, when he played Green Lantern, Deadpool's like, I'm going to go back in time. I'm going to destroy everything. He's like, yep, boom. And Terrence Script's like, rips it. Never happened.
And him killing his alternate version of himself from Wolverine Origins.
And of course, when James Gunn says he wants to do an origin for, was it the Green Lantern? And of course, Ryan Reynolds, being smart ass as he is, strikes back, like, I hope you're not going to hire me to play the Green Lantern again. James Gunn said no. He's like, good. Sigh.
I'm sorry, but like everybody is so used to like Hal Jordan as Green Lantern. He wasn't the first Green Lantern.
No, he wasn't.
Like, let's go back. Let's go to some of those earlier comics, like their actual first origins. Because it's going to give people stories they've never seen and versions of the characters they're not used to. I'm surprised James is not cribbing from that. Instead, he's like, no, I'm just going to adapt the modern comics. I'm too lazy. It's like, dude, you gave Peacemaker, you motherfucker.
At least James is doing the right thing with Superman. He's making it where Superman, trying to explain to the audience, Superman's had to kind of find this common ground between being Krypton and being human. And how does he find that equality? And most people, when you see Superman, they just see him flying, saving people, and searching out of his uniform. But they don't really see the fight, the vision, what's going through his mind, the mentality of what it takes.
I don't know how well that's going to play off. I almost think James Gunn is beginning to forget he used to work for Trauma. Yeah, and I fear he's going to become too artistic.
Trauma. Oh, that Trauma company.
Hey, Trauma has its moments. It just hires some really people, like Renee, for example. We won't mention any more names than that. But, you know, I have mad respect for early James Gunn Trauma. I love Slither. I love some of the involvement that James Gunn had with the remake of Dawn of the Dead, Chainsaw Lollipop. Yes. I hope he's involved with Chainsaw Lollipop, the remake. I hope. But the thing of it is, you know, there comes so many points where you're no longer an independent creator and you become a piece of the machine, and it's just like, you know. Look at like M. Night Shyamalan. There's only so many more what a twists we can get from him.
Yeah, I will point out there's a friend. I don't know if you know him. I don't know if you know Brandon Salzberg.
Possibly. It seems like lately I've been running into a lot of
Brandon
contamination crew, so to speak.
Brandon Salzberg is a lovely man, interesting person. Why did I say lovely man? Like, oh my God, you're such a lovely man. No. But seriously, Brandon Salzberg is an interesting person. He is the one that's involved with the George Romero Resident Evil thing that's happening, a documentary.
Oh, yeah, with Matt and them. I roll my eyes. I'll wait and see when it comes out, guys.
Well, I'm excited for that because
they missed their window of opportunity with the Resident Evil remake.
Mm-hmm.
If Matt and his little butt buddy weren't so much piles and blew off me for some racist people, I think we'd be okay. But the thing of it is that they missed the window of opportunity with the Resident Evil remake because that remake sucked. You know, and here's what's ironic. It gave us everything that all the fans were outcrying for a Resident Evil movie. And we still bitched because it wasn't good.
No.
And it's like, it'd be great if somebody stepped up and made the George Romero movie, but we're so many generations removed from that, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's not.
Matt and Key 13, I guess that's what they're still called. I don't know. I've kind of stopped following.
No. Matt's Absurd Productions.
Okay, well, still, you know what I mean. Yep. With Absurd Productions, what have you. Still pursuing this. I just don't see it.
I don't know who's really pursuing it. All I know is I'm excited. Brandon is he's been a key factor in a lot of things. You know,
don't get me wrong. I'm happy for your friend, and I hope it works out for your friend.
I'm actually giving a shout out to him because he gives me helpful suggestions when it comes to being a film director. Because I've never directed anything in my life, and of course, I had a very friend Corey Coulter who says, "Well, if you have something, write it." So I wrote something, and the next thing you know, it's like this is finished. We're going to film this. You're a director. I'm just like, I've never directed anything in my life, and I was kind of scared, to be honest. I was really scared about it. I didn't know what to do. And Brandon's like, well, it's this, this, and this. And a lot of people has told me it's okay to be a director. And then this a few weekends ago, I was helping a project with Matt Burns, one of his shorts, and I was DP. So I actually got to do what a director does and actually got to do things. I was like, this is what a director does. And since then, it's like, I got the bug.
No,
like,
see, when I was talking Matt, I'm talking the heavyset one that did some
other
other movies.
You mean Anderson?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Way to name drop.
I've yet to meet
Burns.
that.
I mean, Burns and I had our own falling out, and I miss him. I do.
I think I've met Matt Anderson by passing at cons. I don't know.
Anderson is involved with that Resident Evil thing.
See, I wouldn't know. I just meet him by passing.
But
when most people mention the name Matt Anderson, and I'm not going to get
I just hope that Brandon knows a lot of the facts that are out there about some of the people that Matt Anderson associates with, along with his crew. And I just hope he doesn't get tangled in that mess, because he sounds like a good dude. But
he is. He's an awesome dude.
I have little hope for this Resident Evil, situation. I mean, I hate to be Debbie Downer, but that's how I look at it. Because it's not being released timely. It's being released after the remake, and sometime around probably when the RE4 remake hits. And does anybody really want an RE4 remake? I mean, that shit has been ported to everything by now, even more so than Doom, which says something.
Oh, there is a remake. What? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the Welcome to Raccoon
is getting a remake in the RE engine. And it's like, is it really necessary?
Wow.
You didn't know.
Okay, I did not know that. Okay,
Capcom has been making money hand over fist with the RE2 remake and the RE3 remake. And so, like, well, fuck it. We haven't remade RE4. And it's like, yes, you have.
You've had.
Yeah, they have more than
every modern console.
But, of course, everybody's like, oh, it's just a port. Sometimes they had to rebuild that engine. I mean, it made it onto friggin' phones back in the day. If that ain't a remake or a remake, I have no idea what is.
Well, let me put it this way. It can't be as bad as Grand Theft Auto's Remastered Edition.
Yeah, but I literally watched a friend of mine make a video recently of how many different versions of RE4 he could find. And he still does not have them all. He's like, it's easier for me to get all of the Doom, even the unofficial ones, the Doom ports, before I get the RE4. It's more realistic.
Well, you see, RE is just like Skyrim. It's like when Skyrim came out, it was PlayStation 3. It was the Xbox 360, and then the new consoles come out. Oh, let's port that to the PlayStation 4. Oh, we'll port that to the Xbox One. Oh, we'll port that to Xbox Series S and X. We'll port that to we'll port that to whatever they can put the
RE4 is the fact that they've literally downgraded the game so it'll run on certain ports.
Yeah,
they had that thing running on that Tiger handheld game system.
Yeah, let's not talk about that. That's a horrible system.
They had it on the Gizmondo.
That's even worse.
They had little like tablet things that you would write on, that you would use to send texts and save notes. That's how bad it is. It was on Wii with motion controls. And it was supposed to be a GameCube exclusive.
Yep.
Funny how that works.
But speaking of video games, do we have to talk about Hogwarts Legacy?
Yeah, unfortunately. But right now, since we bring up video games, there are a lot of, I'm just going to be frank with you, crybaby, whiny YouTubers and Twitch streamers who are mad because while they are playing the latest of, yes, he gave the name Hogwarts Legacy, or as I call it, the Brit Transphobes' new boy magician game, they get a lot of hate because, as we know, J.K. Rowling is a trans exclusionary radical feminist. And no, using the term TERF is not a slur because they created it for themselves. Kind of hard to call something a slur when you label yourself that. Now, I have some suggestions. We could go with feminism appropriating radical transphobes, which I think is hilarious. Farts. But that's just me.
So you're. I see. I'm going to play the devil's advocate. I like playing the devil's advocate just because I like topics. So you're saying that there's no way that you can separate J.K. Rowling herself from the Harry Potter universe.
Because I know
there's people out there that are saying, I hate J.K. Rowling for what she's doing, but I still love Harry Potter, and I'm not going to give up my love for Harry Potter.
This is where that separation comes in.
Got it.
This is where this separation comes in. Is the fact that you still have all the books and everything else that you bought before her going on her anti-transphobe Twitter tirades. Her anti-trans tirades. You still have your books. You still have all the merchandise you got. Stop funding her base from that point forward.
Correct.
Stop following her on Twitter. Stop buying new products. Because no matter what you do, once you buy something new that's put out, that's branded, anything Harry Potter or what's it called, the Wizarding World or whatever, anything that's labeled that, she's going to get a cut. It's like your friends who occasionally eat Chick-fil-A sandwich. I've been guilty because I work at a high school that serves it nonstop, and I get them for free, which sucks. But hey, if I'm at work, why am I going to pay $2 for a greasy hamburger when I can get that sandwich for free? But you get my point.
But yet, it's okay. Like if you go to a comic convention and there is a craftsman who makes wands by hand, but it's not labeled Harry Potter wands. That's different. You can buy one and be like, I'm supporting a small business.
Exactly.
And it's not going back to
But it's when you buy anything new that encourages that seller to get more of that person's product, and given their current base and what they use their platform for, it's not okay. Don't care if you go out and buy the game secondhand. Somebody still paid for it. Somebody played it, even if it's gifted to you, somebody else still paid for it.
Correct.
If you stream it, it's getting, some sort of space out there in the community that, hey, this is a great game, which causes 20 million other people to buy it. And I hate to say it, but anything Wizarding World will redirect you to her platform, be it on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, where have you, and you're going to find that hateful rhetoric. You can't escape it.
Nope.
If Hitler himself created the Harry Potter world, would you try to separate everything that he did?
Make a good point.
Go, oh, what? And it's fine if it was something you grew up with. I used to love Josh Whedon. I no longer support Josh Whedon because of all the bullshit that's come up with him. Loved him to death. No, thank you. He's a piece of crap. I still have stuff that I got from back in the day, but now knowing about the actresses and the actors and how they were mistreated and things of that nature, can't go out and buy new. I'm not buying it on Blu-ray. I'm not making sure Josh Whedon gets penny one. If you'll notice, now that Disney owns a large majority of his properties, There was talks of remakes, and then those talks suddenly disappeared. That's why. That's the difference between Disney, Marvel, Warner Brothers, DC, J.K. Rowling.
Mm-hmm.
Major difference.
There's a major difference.
Yes,
Exactly.
Disney has some horrible shit in its background, and I wish they did more admitting to that, because Warner Brothers owns it and still sells stuff. Disney vaults it or puts it underneath another subscription service, so hopefully you forget it's Disney associated.
And what
But
most people don't realize about Disney is they were very anti-Jewish back in the day. They were Semitic, and
yes,
people don't realize that.
yes,
Yeah. But you have to also think when you talk about the game itself cost $59.99. Deluxe edition,
it's the hell of an entry fee.
almost $70-$80. And when you buy the deluxe edition, I looked, you're getting all of these add-ons. You get like a Dark Wizard's hat. You get like a special Dark Wizard's robe, special wand, and you get a flying mount. Cool. Yeah. Okay, cool. And you're paying that much money. And if you think about that, that's $70. You times it by the millions of people, the thousands of people that are going to be buying this at that amount. And then you take that total amount and you divide by X amount. That's how much J.K. Rowling's going to be getting in royalties.
Yep, and she's still gonna make money at the end of the day. I've
Yes.
had people, like I've told you, that said, yeah, let's go out and buy the game and burn it. I'm like, number one, A, you're still buying the game, she still got her money. And B, burning it, like, how many steps removed from the Nazis do you think you are? Because even burning art of any kind, even if it's shit art, still burning art. You know, there are lessons to be learned from the horrible things in the world. I'm not saying that they should be monetized and things of that nature, but they should be there as an example,
Right.
of what not to do moving forward.
Yeah.
But like Ace Ventura, Rocky Horror, needs to be there for an example of, hey, yeah, this was thought to be cool back then, but here's the problems. But it shouldn't be vaulted, thrown away, lock and key. Should be used as a teaching tool. Burning it doesn't make you any better than the Christians who frequently would burn Pokemon cards or Sinead O'Connor albums. Oh my God, I just showed my age there. But you get what I'm saying. Or everything that was burnt during the Satanic Panic, like all kinds of music. You're no better than those people. And the worst part of it is, I've gone to a couple of those events just to see what they're like.
Yeah.
And you've got resellers on the fringes of that burning, selling the product to the people for burning.
Mm-hmm.
All you've done is you've destroyed something, but you've also paid for that something, and you're giving the publishers even more warrant to reprint it up until the 9th and 10th edition. You're only feeding the machine. And that's the thing with art that I say to people when it comes to art. There are 3 ways to view art. You can have good press. Everybody's like, wow, I love it. It's great. And people go to see it because of that. You can have bad press where people's like, oh, it's horrible, it's controversial. And people will still pay to go see it or have it or own it because of the controversy. And then finally, you have the most powerful thing of all, indifference. And it just withers and dies on the vine because nobody cares. And that's how a lot of this art needs to be treated today, so that our marginalized and oppressed communities can be respected appropriately. People just need to be like, whatever, don't buy it.
I think Banksy basically said that, I think it was last year, the year before. Someone took one of his pieces of work and tried to put it in a museum that was supposed to be viewed by all. So what he did, he made it work, he put it in a frame, he gave it to Christie's. And then Christie's had it for auction. And when someone paid 1.2 million some dollars for it, he pushed a magic button on the cell phone and the art shredded. He's saying, my art's for everyone. Don't buy my art and make it monetized.
Yep.
Make it for everyone. And then you get people like Art Spiegel, Art Spiegelman. I love Art Spiegel. He did the whole Moss series, and you got the people are there screaming, saying this should be banned from my schools. I'm like, you're learning about a true story about this guy's father,
and
who
as
was a
long
Holocaust
as you're
survivor
learning about the negative consequences too
of what happens. It's fine.
Right. But, and this is the way I look at it when it comes to Hogwarts Legacy. And I hate to say it, and granted, yes, future John Connor is going to be pissed at me, but the machine was right. Sometimes the only way to win at war is to not play at all.
Yep.
War games from the 80s. And when it comes to this, don't play the game. Don't buy it. If you still want it later, wait until it's in the bargain bins at Walmart for less than $5. Fuck J.K. Rowling. Yeah. Not in the fun way either. I'm talking about with like a corn cob. Make sure it's the biggest fucker you can find. And it goes through her nose first.
You're giving me some horrible visions in my head, and I do not want to see that. And I'm thinking of little floats that they have in Europe whenever a bad politician comes to England. They make little paper mache figures and they march them through the streets. Why am I thinking of that as a paper mache figure? Oh, God, no.
Would you expect
I don't even want to see that.
anything less of me given my ancestry?
No.
We just came full circle, didn't we? And that is the essence of comedy.
That's the essence of comedy. That's why this is not PG-13.
But at the end of the day, like, just don't play it. You see somebody else play it, say something.
Yeah.
And boo-hoo, those poor little YouTubers and Twitch streamer and all their ad revenue money. Oh, get negative reviews. You're still getting up in the algorithm, bitch. Get with it. But at the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with while you're at Target and you happen to overhear the salesman and somebody's getting ready to say, oh, this is a great game. Yeah, but it's not great for trans people that you might know and support. Don't buy it. I've been privy to that conversation recently.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I rolled up with it. I was like, yeah, maybe you shouldn't buy it if you have any trans people that you know and you respect in your life. Maybe find some sort of other generic game that's better. Fallout 4, anybody? It just works. Better than 76.
I'm good for parties of all kinds. Bar mitzvahs, weddings, funerals. I'm good for anything.
Exactly. I love Fallout 4. It's fun. But anyways, I think we found a pretty good thumbnail point here. You want to pitch anything you got going on? Give us some more plugs for your sites and things of that nature?
Well, I will plug this. Again, we have a short film coming out. It's called Bobo, short film. Again, synopsis, people. It's about a 1920s circus clown. You're going through the mind of the circus clown like being John Malkovich. You're seeing his life being performed on stage, like you're watching a play on Broadway, his life going through his eyes, his turmoil, fighting in the trenches in World War I, because at the end, he still has to put on the best show of his life.
I'm going to figure out where those beeps are coming from, and I'm going to get them. I don't know where they're at, but they're there.
Who you going to call? Ghostbusters.
I'll find it. I always do. I'm just going to wind up.
But this off topic, this randomly. Speaking of Ghostbusters, what do you think of the new Ghostbusters 4 coming out?
I'm excited because it's, you got
the original cast.
It's yeah, but you also have the newcomers, and you have basically, Jason Reitman back helping with creative control. He's not directing. He's got a new director, but that's fine.
For me, this is like watching Ghostbusters Extreme. In a way, it's semi like that, except the original cast is back. They brought back the Echo One to New York.
It comes out on my birthday
It does.
this year, and my ass is going fully geared just like I did for Afterlife.
And if
We
I
should
get
come to Virginia. We should make it a big party. We'll go to the One Alamo down in Virginia with me, Al, Robert, and a couple other choice people, and we'll go fill a cinema and enjoy that shit. And get righteously drunk and have a bonfire back at Robert's.
Well, again, I look at it, it's just like extreme in a way, but it's like they got back together, they're old, they know they need to retire, so they're going to train a whole new generation of Ghostbusters to take over when they leave. And I think that's great. But
as long as they don't bring Egon back again, that I'd be fine with.
Seeing him in ghost form, in a way, made sense.
Into his story, we're starting a new story. This is the story of the new team. The third movie should have been the transitional story, and then this one kind of builds on that. And
the third story kind of was. It showed the transitional story of how they got the Echo One back from the farm and got it to New York. So in a way, it was. You know that it's not over yet.
Yeah, because you got the warning light at the firehouse.
Exactly.
Which is also going to be in my trailer, FYI.
Your trailer sounds more interesting.
Oh, it's very weird. I can't wait to be covered in blood and do my Jason Voorhees fight scene.
Is it weird, like Lost and was it Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas weird?
Oh, no.
Or is it weird like you're on a bad acid trip?
It's like everything you've ever wanted to see in an Evil Dead sequel and just didn't get.
What should I say? Groovy.
If I could get him, there is a scene. Because in the trailer, because I gotta find a person who can do the perfect trailer voice. Because of course they're describing me throughout the trailer. She gets the girls, and she gets the guys, and there's a scene of me approaching a cabin. I understand there's some problems with the book here. Oh, no problems, but I could always use a hand with other things. And then it cuts to a cheesy motel and me saying, yeah, well, baby, I don't use my hands. And all you hear is groovy.
Why am I picturing Nicolas Cage saying that?
No. There is one old daddy actor, especially with the beard that he had recently on Twitter, that I'd be all about.
Well, I'm excited to see him play Dracula in Renfield.
Oh, that's going to be a great film.
I've been looking forward to that.
It's just weird because we saw that kid that's playing Renfield in something else recently.
Yep.
And wasn't he also in that zombie movie?
He was.
What's the other thing I'm thinking of that was horror related that he was in between?
I don't remember. But you see, this is why you have the magic of cell phones.
Yeah, because there was something either horror or comic book related he was in, because he just has that kind of face.
Nicholas Houst.
Mm-hmm.
Nicholas Hoult, that's his name. Let's see. He was in Warm Bodies.
Well, that's the movie I was mentioning where he played a zombie.
Yep, he was in Warm Bodies.
But there was another horror or sci-fi or comedy he was in.
Well, let's see here. Let's go through his IMDb. Yes, I do have an IMDb Pro now. I need to fix it. So, previous. Let's see. Something that I've heard of. Those Who Wish Me Dead. He was in X-Men: Dark Phoenix.
That's where he was Beast.
Yep, and he was also in Deadpool 2.
Yeah, he was Beast in Deadpool 2.
Yeah, he was Beast. That's right, Beast. The blue thing.
That's the thing. He just has that kind of face where it's like, I know him from somewhere. I'm excited for it, but I want Cocaine Bear more.
Cocaine Bear.
I want that film more than anything because it just looks so dumb but so fun at the same time.
What about Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey?
You know what? I finally, like, from last year, because there's usually like a list of movies that I'll see trailers for, and I'll write down, this is a movie I want to make sure I can see. And there was one advertised known as Crabs. Just CRABS, exclamation point. And here's the funny part. I'm sitting there on Amazon. I'm like, the DVD's $20. The Blu-ray's $35. What the fuck? I'm like, all right, let me see what it's on Vudu. And it was like $10 on Vudu. I'm like, sold. And I loved it. It is weird. It is crazy. It is trash. It is cheese. But you get killer horseshoe crabs. Come on. What more could you want?
See, the same thing. That's how I found out about Velocipaster. It's like, someone said, let's check out Velocipaster. It's a good film. I was like, Indios, I watched. I was like, oh, this is fucking great.
One night I got bored while channel surfing on Roku.
Yeah.
And I stumbled across Wolf Cop. And I found it interesting because it was Wolf Cop and Wolf Cop 2 was both on Tubi at the same time. Yeah. And I'm like, well, apparently there was enough interest in the first one to make a sequel. I do not regret my decision that evening at all. It was the greatest werewolf movie I've seen in a long time. Kevin Smith showing up in the sequel. Perfect.
Yep.
And yeah, it's made me really reassess like certain double features. So like, anybody wants a live show, I'm down for 2 movies same night. We'll just slam them and make fun of them. We make it a party. It's always a good time.
We should.
I bring the movies, the horror hostess, obviously, and of course some popcorn with a real butter. We'll microwave that shit until we get ghee and separate all the milk fats and make it good popcorn. It don't dissolve.
No, we need a lot of shit of butter in that popcorn.
Oh, no. See, you do the ghee. You separate all the heavy fats out of it. You pour it over the popcorn, and while it's still hot, mix in a bunch of milk duds. Yes, you're going to get sticky and buttery, but it is absolute heaven. And you got to let it sit a couple minutes underneath a warmer so it melts to perfection. And it is the most decadent experience next to sex. It doesn't beat sex, but next to sex that you'll ever experience in your lifetime. Especially if you use real sea salt to salt it a little bit.
I mean, that sounds better than what I heard on. My mother was watching a rerun of NCIS, and was it?
This popcorn that I just described will make anything that you watch instantly awesome.
You hear that, people? Why am I looking back at the cameras this way?
Yeah, you're looking at a wall.
It's like I'm talking to the people. Hi there, folks. Yeah, try that popcorn. But don't try McGee's sister's favorite pizza, which was a cheeseless pizza with peanut butter, pickles, and hot sauce. That sounds absolutely disgusting.
But this it's messy, but it's good. Just like sex. It's messy, but it's good.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with sloppy seconds.
Hey, whatever floats your boat, man. But when it comes to milk dud popcorn with ghee butter and sea salt, I don't care whose hand's been in there. I'm having some.
I mean, it flows like it easy on a Sunday morning.
Exactly. Considering where we're going to first broadcast, it's perfect. Do not recommend butter or sea salt for lubrication or fun times. It would be very painful for you.
And if you did do it, do not come back. We're not responsible for any actions that may happen when you try to use sea salt or butter on for lubrication.
Exactly. So anyways, we were talking about Bobo. We went on tangent.
Yeah.
Tell us some
That's
more
fine.
about
Yeah, Bobo's going to be a fun film. I'm looking forward to that. And then the second film we have, I actually have like this, they called it the multiverse. And the multiverse is a pretty cool concept. I actually have a post. I got to find where he posted that because I reposted that, but I have my own multiverse. The other company I work for outside EPG, I work for Lantz Studios. Lantz Studios is the same person who is part owner of EPG, but he also owns Lantz Studios. And he wanted to do this because we're always going to be making films. So we have a thing called the multiverse, and this is called the Dark Tales verse. I'm taking public domain horror, public domain fairy tales, and I'm trying to de-Disneytize them and make them that gruesome horror that Hans Christian Andersen would have originated from. Like we have, but the only one's not part of Hans Christian Andersen is the one that's coming out in the fall. We're going to start filming El Leprechaun Mexicano, A Tale of Fortune. It's about Mexican leprechaun. And yeah, played by the wonderful Josue Salinas, or we call him Pony, a little Mexican, and it'll fit with that. And then the next one in this 5-part series is we have a short called The Witch in the Woods. It's a retelling of Hansel and Gretel, but instead of Hansel and Gretel being brother and sister, they're actually a couple. So it's going to be quite interesting. It's a horror tale because.
But you're not going to make a fourth one where the characters all kind of combine?
Well, it's a multiverse, so it's a verse that it can all come together. Then we have one that's a Hans Christian Andersen tale called The Nightingale, and that has never been transitioned into a film or a TV adaptation. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to make it into a full-length feature film, and it is dark, it's twisted, it's psychological horror, and it is going to eat your brain out. The synopsis of The Nightingale originally is they have a emperor in China who falls in love with a mechanical nightingale because it makes beautiful noise. And then they realize a real nightingale comes and destroys the mechanical thing, and he stumbles upon the real nightingale. Ta-da, happy ending. Well, kind of the same idea. Woman finds a mechanical nightingale, kind of gets brainwashed, and it's hypnotized into the lovely voice, destroys her life, and you get to see her life come crashing down before it gets destroyed, and a beautiful real nightingale comes out. We do have Outcast, the ugly duckling story. It's not the ugly duckling you're thinking of. It's not kid-friendly, because this is where half human, half duck, chopped in half. He's an evil spearmint gone wrong. He's an ugly duckling, and he's going to be as twisted, sadistic as the Joker is, because he's an ugly duckling, because all he wants to do is fly south for the winter and eat fucking breadcrumbs, because he's a part duck. And then we had the Rumpelstiltskin story, modern retelling of Rumpelstiltskin, but in the horror genre, because this woman has so many.
Now, didn't they already do a Rumpelstiltskin horror film? I just heard that there was one.
They might have, but this is a different retelling.
But you might want to look that one up, just to make sure you don't tread on.
I did. I looked and I couldn't find anything, but this is more of a woman finds an old book, hears about the story, doesn't say his name, and has X amount of hours because she's having nightmares and dreams, and this man is destroying her life, and she wants to have that baby. So we have all that fun stuff. When it comes to art, conventions, this might be, I'm going to be honest, the first time people are going to hear it, this might be the last year where I do so many conventions all at once, because now that I've got the director's bug.
It really can be. It can be a drain.
It's not that it's draining, but now that I've got the director's bug, I want to make more films. So I'm going to be concentrating
on more film conventions.
Yeah, I'm going to concentrate on making more short films and real films and direct.
Blobfest is a film convention.
Yeah, I've heard. It's on my list.
But it should be on your regular list.
What's the list? The left list or the right list?
The list that I say it needs to be on. The big list. The primary list.
And not
Sasha Supreme list.
And not no, I'm not going to go there. That's a bad joke. No, we're it's not PG-13, not Schindler's List.
That's like if the list is too long, I just know what we don't do. It's easier and shorter.
Correct. Yeah. But yeah, so that's all the fun stuff we have coming. I mean, I'll be at conventions. I'll be at 4th State Comic-Con. I'm hoping that you get to go there, because
I might be able to stick my head in. I haven't decided yet.
Matt Anderson has Matt's like, where's Sasha? I haven't, not Matt Anderson, but I can't think right now. Andrew, the guy. That's Andrew. That's what I'm thinking of. I had so many names in my head. He's like, where's Sasha? I haven't seen her in a while, and a lot of people keep asking, where's Sasha?
I'll make an
Sasha's-
appearance. You just have to. We'll figure it out.
Yeah,
But you'll
especially
have to
Donnie.
sing-
You know, Donnie's a cool kid. I love Donnie. The whole family is.
Well, I usually run into because, like, right now, lately, my biggest draws have been Creature Feature at the drive-in,
Correct.
and obviously Blobfest. That's kind of like my big. That's what I'm blowing my load on. Hey, it's only fans. I gotta keep saying that. Get them views. Get them views.
I mean, what are they? They're just only fans, right? At the end of the day.
Yeah, but lately they've been helping me pay some bills, and it's kind of nice. But
It's all about the beautiful feet pics.
huh?
It's all about those beautiful feet pics.
Hey! It's boudoir. It's cheesecake. It's pinup. It's tasteful. If they want anything extra, it's going tips. It's like the inappropriate person that messaged me today and was asking me, well, can I get this pic or that pic from you? And immediately I sent him a pic of this image of the words, fuck you, pay me.
Before you know it, they're going to be saying, we want Sasha bathwater.
I did that as a joke once. And trust me, I did have the serious entries. Ever since that last photo shoot that Al did for my birthday,
yeah,
it has been off the chain. But I have literally received marriage proposals, and of course I'm rubbing it in Al's face like, these people who don't even know me or have been with me for any period of time, and you've been with me for 9 years. What's the fucking problem?
Yeah, you should rub it to be like, you've been with me for 9 years. They're proposing to me. Where's my rake? Huh?
They're just happy with cheesecake and pinup. You get everything else. What the fuck, man?
Yeah. Yeah, but so that's kind of what I had going. I mean, at the Forest State.
Like I said, in that one trailer, there are a couple scenes I have you in mind in.
Okay.
Especially the Jason fight scene, because I love how you sometimes do like your Dutch angles. And I think me getting kicked on my ass a few times and picking myself back up would be fun for you to do. Especially me covered in blood and gore, and me just looking at Mr. Voorhees and going, all right, mama's boy, round 2, let's go.
Why am I hearing that? And I'm picturing the world record holder against world record, the woman with the biggest boobs, and she can take her boob and go like whack, and kind of break cans. I'm thinking, okay, hold on a minute. Yeah, give me this. Like whack, and then just knock a person out with a giant boob.
Then of course I have a scene with my Freddy stand-in. And, you know, he's all looming over me and threatening me. And I'm like, okay, Sharpan Joe, show me what you got. I'm eternal. Okay, pedo.
It'll be funny.
I want to be somebody who calls Freddy a pedo.
It's funny is that Freddy is like, it's like, show me what you got. Instead of a big knife, he pulls out this small, eeny, teeny, weeny knife. It was like,
I just
okay,
think the Sharpan Joe reference is just perfect.
Yeah, that would be great. But yeah, so I got Forest State, end of April.
And the furry scene. I think you would like that too.
That'll be interesting.
Oh no. It's me protecting a bunch of kids from a bunch of animatronics at an arcade. And it's just me cocking a shotgun going, fuck you, Scott Coffin.
Good. See, I like that. That's great. It just brings me horror references back to that movie. Was it the Banana Split film?
We're getting 5 nights, but I still think, you know, Willy's Wonderland is best.
5 nights.
We're getting 5 nights. It's finally happening. It's coming from the same people who put out Jordan Peele's films.
Yep.
But I don't know how I feel about it, because once I saw Willy's Wonderland, I'm like, you can't top that.
No.
And you've got to watch Banana Splits and Willy's Wonderland back to back. They are the perfect double feature, and you need my popcorn.
Yeah. Banana Splits, that kind of ruined my childhood seeing that, but at the same time, like,
I watched that growing up, like the little animated show. No. No.
Yeah, I watched it. It was all the little shorts. They had one with like a castaway.
1 banana, 2 banana, 3 banana, 4.
And it's like, it's time for another cartoon. Oh, that.
You remember the Hair Bear Bunch?
Yeah.
I want a live action Hair Bear Bunch. I think you could direct it.
Or what about was it what about the Croft universe? Da 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 da.
Oh, Sid and Marty Krofft?
Yeah. Remember that show growing up?
Yeah, but I also remember the whole McDonald's Land
H.R.
issue.
Huff and Puff. That's what I'm thinking of.
No, because Sid and Marty Krofft also did H.R. Puffin stuff. They did
Yes.
Witchy Poo. They did Sigmund the Sea Monster.
Vaguely remember that, yeah.
And all of those McDonald's Land characters that everybody remembers so fondly, they did as well. But the reason why the Golden Arches no longer use it is because they got the shit suit out of them by Sid and Marty Krofft because they never got paid for the work.
Ah, that's right.
And now you know. And that is the other part of the story. Yeah.
Or you know. Do 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 do. Yeah, so I'll be at Forest State Poppin'
Yeah, I love our tangents.
Yeah, be at Forest State Poppin' Comic Con the end of April. And then I may be somewhere in August. I'm quite sure how to work with my work schedule, but I'm trying to keep my content very minimal this year because I'm going to be making films. So, plus, when it comes to September around my birthday, I am going to go see Andre Review live. He usually comes up to this area, a wonderful composer who does waltz, and he's amazing. From Vienna. He's cool. People might see him on PBS and be like, "Oh, that's Andre Review." Yeah, but
now you're still working on your like artwork and stuff, right?
Oh yeah, I work on my artwork, but right now that's off to the side because Bobo comes first. But
well, yeah, obviously,
I have
film is a big project.
See, I have enough artwork that I did at the end of last year that people haven't seen yet at the other con, so I'm just going to roll that over into April. If I make a new one in between there, sure. I mean, I have what was it? The last one I did was I did American Muppet, where I took Fozzie Bear. And
okay, I remember that.
I put Fozzie Bear in the role of the lead character in American Psycho. I was like, waka waka.
Patrick Bateman.
Yeah, I could see Fozzie being that, telling one bad joke.
Patrick, where are you going? I have videos to return.
It's like, I'd be like, have you heard of Animal and the Magic Mystery Band? No? Well, this song was very popular back in the 70s with Jim Henson, and it's still relevant now. Hey, Paul, what? Waka waka?
I don't know. I still think my favorite scene in that whole movie and book is when he's at the nightclub and somebody asks him what he does, and he's legit, yeah, I'm into murders and executions. Oh, my boyfriend works in mergers and acquisitions. And it's like, and
well, see,
you think that like Britton Ellis really had a point about the 80s. You could have gotten away with murder.
You see, I just like simple things. Like he opens the refrigerator to pull out a drink for one of the ladies, and there's a head sitting on a plate.
The chainsaw down the stairs. That's just best. And then how many years later he's Batman?
Yeah.
Coincidence?
Oh, that was like my name is.
Sometimes you live long enough to be the villain.
So I had that, and then I do one fun con, which I don't sell anything in October, so we're gonna skip that. The only other con I can tell you about,
con, don't I?
The only other con I can tell you about is I'll be again back at Ocean City Comic Con. I go there every year, October the 9th. So no, December the 9th. I used to spend a weekend there at the Fun Con. It's
you know what? That one you might be able to twist me on.
You need to go. We spend the whole weekend in Ocean City, and it's fun. It's Davey, myself, and Josue, and we just have a boys' night. And we missed last time Donnie came with us. We went to go see the movie. Was it Violent Nights? And that was a fun film.
Well, see, I would go, and my only request would be we go to Hooters again.
Well, let me put it this way: we went to Hooters there. They closed the Hooters and turned it into a barbecue restaurant, and now the barbecue restaurant is closing and is turning into something else. And the one on the boardwalk was closed, so Josue was standing in front of the boardwalk. Hooters was like, "Hooters, you're closed." No,
that's more of a reason for you to go to Blobfest, because it's not that far removed from KOP, and KOP has a Hooters, and we can make things happen again.
We could. I just remember you going to Hooters wearing your Hooters outfit, and you're correcting it. It's like, you see, I am wearing it exactly as the book tells you.
Except for the jewelry. That was the only downside, but
yeah,
exactly. You're not supposed to wear necklaces or chokers or anything.
And everyone else is coming up, so like, can I get pictures with you? I thought it was like, that's amazing.
That's why I got the custom pin that was like, Sasha, Hooters, horror hostess. I even had the waitress thing. Hell, I know how to run most of their POSs. I could have ran shop for the night.
I think the only downside to that weekend was, I think that was the weekend I found out I had there's a C diff or whatever it was.
Oh yeah,
or something.
No. I thought C diff was the night of the one con when we were in Hagerstown.
It was, but it started that weekend.
Oh, it spreaded then. Okay.
It started. It's like something's not right, and then we're at the con. It's like, yep, I have it, and it was like, did you eat any raw pork or anything and weren't supposed to eat? I was like, not that I know of.
Shit happens.
And no human sausages aren't that kind of raw pork.
No. Definitely not.
No, but that's about the cons I have
for a long time.
I mean, I'm going to concentrate on filming this year. Tour season in Gettysburg is going to be bigger, so I'm going to do the best I can to get all of these films. 2 films in the middle, and I'm going to try to film because, yeah. So I have a lot of things. I have a lot of ambitions. So we'll see what happens.
Well, that's good. That's good. And where can people find you?
Well, they can find me at let's see. That's a good question. Why am I doing this? Oh, I have to look at my own business card. They can find me at. See, it's hell getting old. I'm not that old. What are you talking about? I don't
know. It might have something to do with the wine you've been drinking there, my friend.
Oh, that's not. Yeah, that's wine, but that's
not entirely true. Maybe partially, but not all the way.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. And
no, I'm 44 and I'm hanging in there better than you.
I have to find my good cards. There we go. These are my good cards. I need to get them reprinted. Let's see. You can find me at pandandesigns.com, my website. I'm also on Facebook at Panda N Designs, Instagram at Panda N Designs, PND Studios on YouTube. Just type in youtube.com/PND Studios. And on TikTok, yeah, that's my new social media. I'm enjoying TikTok, PND Studios. It's fun.
So
no, I'm not worried about China stealing my stuff on TikTok. No, I use TikTok strictly for business, and I recommend anyone who wants to learn how to use TikTok for business, hit me up. And
there you go. Well, as you know, I of course am Sasha, the Princess of Darkness. You can find me pretty much everywhere: YouTube, Instagrams, OnlyFans, obviously.
OnlyFans.
Twitter. Just look for Sasha, the Princess of Darkness, and you're bound to find wherever I haunt. Outside of that, obviously, if you are watching this through one of the many sources, you have ways of getting in contact with me. If there's something you want to see us discuss or review, or maybe even want to be a guest, just say hey, and you're always welcome here after dark. Obviously, with Sasha, the Princess of Darkness, and the podcast of darkness.